Namaskar, Rajeshji. I'm Rajesh, Brother Rajesh from Gyana, branch of the Ananda Marg.
So
And
tell us how
I've
you
been a
became
Margi.
tell us how you became involved with Ananda Marga.
Oh, yes, this happened around 1988, August 1988. I took initiation. But in 87, 1 year before, I was thinking, how can I learn yoga? Because there weren't any teachers here in Guyana. Some and they were only teaching health, yoga, physical fitness, but nothing spiritual or high philosophy. So actually I wanted a teacher, someone who can teach me and give a lot of attention, but I wasn't finding any of that. So I resorted to reading a lot of books. I used to go up in the government library, what they call the public free library, and we read a lot of books, yoga books. And more I read, the more I yawned. If I could only get a teacher like Ramakrishna or Sivananda. And one day I was riding my bicycle. I was around like 17 year. I was riding my bike, and I saw a man in orange with a turban on his head. He was coming down the road. So I stopped and I put my bike on the ground and I said, excuse me, are you a sannyasi? Are you a swami? He said, yes, I am. I said, are you enlightened? He said, I'm working towards it. And he started to laugh. And then I tell him, I would like to talk about meditation. I would like to know more about yoga. He said, oh, I'm staying nearby this guest house. Come visit me tomorrow. He tell me the time. I can't remember if it was tomorrow or which day he fixed. But somehow I went and I found the place and I came back when he told me with two dry coconuts. And I called there and the lady let me up to his room and Dadaji opened the door. He said, come in. He was filled with laughter. And so never saw a human here in Guyana so happy and so much laughter and so much smile. So I sent Namaskar and I gave him the two dry coconuts. And he had a pineapple. He peeled it and he gave me a piece. And then he was telling me about his guru and he was telling me about the challenges of the organization. And so
The name of the Dada.
oh, the Dada, he was from Ghana, Africa. His name was Dada Vishesh Avadut, and we talk a lot, and he told me I should take initiation in 87. But I didn't see him back until 1988, and he took me to a nearby park, and when I saw him, he took me there for initiation. When I was never was initiated by any teacher before. I never was given a mantra. We were Hindu, came from Hindu families. We were following traditional system that we just do it as a ritual every year for blessing, for happiness. But despite all of that we were doing since childhood, I still got clash. I still got so much negative samskaras I picked up, that I was saying like this Hinduism, you have to get somebody to teach you or show you what to do. So when Dada carried me for initiation, I was surprised. He told me to sit down and then he went into meditation. He said, Baba accepted you, the Guru accepted you. I was surprised. Earlier, he told me that when he goes into meditation, he would talk to Baba and Baba would talk to him. He said if the Guru gave him an instruction, no matter where he was in the world, he would have to follow. So I took initiation and he told me to meditate. And he was looking at me intently, looking. Was I wondering? I said, why? He said no, that when he was in Nigeria, he initiated an old Margi and he went into Samadhi. So he told me to practice twice daily and he would try to start a group up and I can come. He will tell me when to come and so that was my first time of being initiated and I felt happy. I felt like something new is going to happen to me. Something is going to open out. And he started to laugh. He said, don't worry that Baba, he was like kind of talking like Baba was, like something like a deity, like a god. Well, I did not understand the concept of guru at that time. It was later on when I read books and I spoke with many dadas on Acarya, then I understand that the guru part of the Guru Bhakti Yoga is one of the ways to realization, apart from doing hatha yoga and karma yoga and worshiping the deities, that Guru Bhakti yoga was one of the paths. So I started to do my meditation and I felt well, my appetite increased. I get good song sleep. I could start to study again. Dadaji told me one that many people regretted they didn't start from young because the benefits that they would get, you know. So eventually they started up a center in a Hindu church, a Hindu temple downstairs, and they had a lot of turnout. I was surprised when I was there. Some of the people, he had some very good people there, and they were talking about that people visit sometime from abroad and they give classes in TM and they do this kind of meditation. That so I never know about these things. I was the youngest among them, so we waited there at a temple. It's called the Gandhi Youth Organization, and the dad came and then he remembered me and he said, "Good that I come, good that I come." And then he handed out some leaflets. First time I was attending a program. I never saw a program like that, and there were so many people there. And apparently he'd be meeting them separately, and he organized. So they started to sing song, and he put up the guru picture and they were singing songs and then he gave this they had a system. They would sing songs and then they meditated. I looked a little bit like Orthodox Hinduism because the mantra like Sam Gajadvam, Sam Vadadvam, and then Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu sound familiar to me. So right away I relax and I start to feel comfortable that just I'm not in a strange place or so. But the thing I admire was the Acaryas. He was very radiant and he had a lot of energy. I think this is characteristic of Tantra, the high energy level, and he was always laughing. So he would read a little bit philosophy, and that went on for some time, this Dharma chakra. And so they told me from the beginning that there's a number of lessons you have to learn, 6 lessons for beginner. He said there are 2 types of sadhana, sadharana and sahaj, and he gave to me the sahaj. He told me I have no issue with yama niyama. He observed me, I'm a good person. So he said I should make progress quickly. And they were finding trying to get a good house and a good center for us, and there was a lot of activities start to build up, like we had meetings and a committee start to form. Some of the early Margis were like Brother Prahalad, who was Mr. Peter Breen, a local Portuguese guy. He was a businessman. They had Mr. Frank Pilgrim, who was the editor of the local government newspapers. He was also Portuguese, fellow Caucasian. You had people like Mr. The school teacher from Bishop High School, an English teacher, and other people like these. So I had a broad spectrum of them, and it was something new to me. I was so happy to see that I'm not alone, and I was struggling like before doing yoga exercises at home by myself and learning a Buddhist system of meditation. I feel more relaxed and I feel happy. But I think some problems started to crop up because my parents they were Orthodox Hindus and they would worship Hanuman and the deities. And I used to worship Hanuman. In fact, when I was going to high school, we had exam, and so I would be singing the Hanuman Chalisa. And surprisingly, when exam results come out, I would do good. But now they're saying that you know, why I'm not worshiping the Hanuman, or I'm not giving so much attention to the Orthodox tradition, and so that was some of the challenge I had. But the other was always telling us about Brazil. He was telling us about the Dadas over there. He mentioned Dada Nirgunananda. He said when Dadaji sing kirtan, he would fall on his samadhi. They had no control. He was telling us about many Tapeshvarananda. He said, always tell me, Rajesh, you should meet some of these great acaryas that Baba has created. And he would go frequently to Brazil and come back. And also he would go to India. At that time, Baba was alive. That was in 1988. And there was so much excitement and so much news. And so I was always excited when he come in the country. I would take my cycle and ride all the way to the center. and he would tell us what's happening in India. Then we heard a story with issue with Patricia Monday. Patricia Monday there in then we heard many stories and we were wondering. Dad always tell us the tantra, it was a very fast path. An obstacle would come in the way and we would have to face them. But he said many of the other part, it's slow and it's a gradual process that we don't get so much problem and trouble. He always tell us a sign of progress is problems, you know. So much things we learn by being in contact with an acharya. One day I called another yoga center abroad in America. I don't want to call the name, but one of the gurus talked to me. And he said that when the guru is not there, the representatives would do the work. That if the guru is not physically present, he would have representatives who are authorized to transmit the mantras, to teach you, and to pass on the what they call the Shakti, the own life impulse of that particular school. So then I felt very happy. I felt that this is very good. I'm getting first-hand experience, and many people don't realize. Come to think of it, around the 80s, they had a lot of young Sufi teachers, men dressed in white robe with a little skull cap on their head. They would be selling books and incense all over the city. So when Dadaji came and I see this man with his orange, and so I noticed all these Sufis gradually start to disappear. And Dada sent, he was on television. Did a lot of work. He had vegetarian. Did a lot of work vegetarian. We'd go to sell books. He had print books. He would bring books in the country. We started to help us, and there were so many people attended that dinner. I remember when they're going to open it, one brother put me on the stage and said, "You go and give a talk." I was scared, but I just started to talk, and I stammered a little, but I just finished and everybody started to clap. I would say, "Oh, this is how it is, people supporting people and helping each other." And if there was such a success that Prasidananda was very happy. And interviews from different Margis to include in his book, Baba's Law for South America. Baba's Law for South America. And, it was such a nice experience that when Ananda Mar came to Guyana, I noticed that it was the same time that they had a political change in the country. And also the same time that oil, they found oil, things came as a positive, something positive to accompany another mark situation here in Guyana. It wasn't something bad, something good. The country just started to pick up and things started to change just like that. Many acharyas visited. I can't forget Dada Tapeshvarananda when he came here. When Dada Tapeshvarananda came, he met everybody and he was so happy and so peaceful. He said there's one language, it's Namaskar. That Ananda Marg is a family all over the world. And there's one universal language. Although we speak in different language, there's one language everybody speak, and that's Namaskar. We were at a retreat. He came to the retreat. One Didi from Australia also visited Guyana. Her name was Didi Nitya Mukti. She was working in Brazil. She was a very motherly, warm woman. The first time I saw her at the retreat there, she was doing very good meditation. Kapalik and Dada told us it was the moon. The moon. I never heard about Kapalik, but there was a moon in the night, and Didiya was alone meditating there. And next day, she gave lectures, and everybody was so invigorated as if we also benefited. So many people came to Guyana. There was one Didi Bika. She came here. She was a Filipino. Then Dada Atma Pranananda came. Many acharyas came. Eventually, I was inspired to also become an LFT because the practice of the various lessons that I was getting, it had a very good effect on me. When I did my second lesson, for example, Dada was giving me, I never realized that I would have gotten a Baba dream, but it was my first dream. Dada said, "Come tomorrow for your second lesson at so and so time." So that night, I went home and I slept. And when I slept, I dreamt I was going into a room. And when I went into the room, I saw a huge man covered in blanket. He was sitting silently. And I went and I was standing in front of him. And then I woke up. I told my dad, and dad said, yeah, Baba was like that. He always had a blanket around him and he wasn't speaking much. And dad gave me my second lesson. Another incident I dreamt about Baba was I always wanted to get the Vishesh yoga. I was asking them, but they said that's a very difficult thing to get. Not everybody would get the Vishesh yoga. One night I was sleeping and I dreamt Baba appeared. And he said, and then I saw another materialization of Dada, probably some Dada who passed away, I felt. But the two of them were there, and Baba said, I'm going to give you Vishesh Yoga. I said, Baba, I put my hand, classman, I said, Baba, also, please give me microvita sadhana. And Baba, they retreated a bit, and then they disappeared. I woke up. Another time, that was so refreshing for me that every time I get these dreams, and I would feel fresh and lighter sometimes. Another time I dreamt Dada from Germany was in Guyana, Dada Vidyanan. I dreamt that Baba was staying at somewhere and I went to visit him. But when I go there, I couldn't find a house, and Dada Vidya told me that's the house, that's the house. So I went in there and I was waiting outside, but they wouldn't let me in, they wouldn't let me in. And then Baba came out and he said, come, you come. He called me to come in and he talked to me and so, and I feel very happy. So those are some of the dreams I had, but mostly I get these dreams when I'm very serious with my sadhana, when I'm very strict. I know people, they said, many acharyas, they say I have one weakness. I like to dabble with other philosophies, with other schools of yoga, but they said, always say you should follow one, because they say the mind can't divide it. If you follow Hanuman and you follow Ram, Baba was stuck the same story that Hanuman said he knows Ram is Narayan, but he still used the name Ram as his Ishta mantra. He know they're the same, but he preferred the Ram as his Ishta Devata. So there's the same thing. God take and he appeals to you and he appears to you in the form that you most, you know, um, love and you endear to. So if you endear to Baba or to Sai Baba or to Guru Nanak, he would take that form and teach you through those forms. So the Guru, I've come to realize, is not just the practicing and believing. Like, it was only in 2019 I realized that the sadhana, you don't have to do it mechanically to maintain a certain tone or a certain strength or stamina. It's the devotion which you do it, because I was there at my workplace and I said, I must do my lesson. So I went to do it in a quiet place. And when I came back, I suddenly realized that it's my devotion to it that I feel an unlocking within me. And I somehow realized that it's a devotion. It's not the system and the practice that you're doing morning, midday, afternoon. It's their devotion. That's one thing I come to realize. And also, many times during the day, I would be struggling with many, things like dogmas, norms, and beliefs that I used to work in the village, in the rural area as a pharmacist. And most of the people in the country, they had this lot of superstition and dogmatic things. And I would find myself getting caught up in that play. And somehow, Babu, I would find that during the course of the day, I would be freed from the tension of those beliefs and dogmas that people were trying to, or this environment, the atmosphere was trying to control and manipulate you. Is the beautiful thing about sadhana is that you can rise above the forces, the terrestrial forces, the earthly forces. So you can just break those bonds and be free. And that's why I realized more. Dada was telling me, he said, in another mark, the system of samadhi is more unlocking. You get more freedom in your everyday life. You feel more profundity in everything. And also, they said that, you start to face more negative forces. That was the first time I realized evil existed.
Yeah, tell us about how
He
you
was,
had a Baba dream and it cured your speaking problem.
oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, my stammering,
Yes.
that's a, yeah, actually, my mother told me that as a baby, she was sweeping. They were living at a part of an apartment, and they were sweeping, and they put me on the counter by the kitchen. Then I walked through the window, and they found me outside. And when I was growing up, I was always stammering. I couldn't speak properly. Even in school, they used to laugh at me. And so when I took initiation and started doing lesson one, even I think it was just lesson one alone. I didn't reach as far as lesson three, and the stammer went away. Now I can speak. I give nice lectures and talk when there's an Dharma Chakra. They ask me to read. They like how I read and how I explain. So I had that, the Hindus saw it Bardhan. They say God give you the Bardhan. But I think it's gifts that you get through your devotion and through your practice, certain qualities develop. So that's one of it. Um, Things that there are other experiences, but I can't really. I do hope that people will feel inspired. That and I have a lot of psychic experiences too. From nature, how nature you can be in very harmony with nature, and you protect nature protects you also. There's so much protection. So much things happen in your favor when you do sadhana. You can help people psychically and all these things. Although I haven't experienced samadhi as yet, I'm struggling with the yamas and the yamas and regularity in sadhana. I was even LFT, and I had an experience of the wider life there, the monk among the monks I was living. I used to cook for the others, go with them to give lectures, to sell, help them raise the money. And I want to say namaskar to the great acaryas that I met, that the Vigyaneshananda, that the Vishwagyanananda, that the Vidya Deshananda over in Brazil there, that the Muktatmanani, he was a Brillian. Dada G, Japa Manchanani, he's an Italian dad. He was very nice dada. Dada's very good dada. Siddheshwarananda, when I was LFT there, he was taking care of us, training us. There was when we were there, they brought one dada from India, Dada Satyat Makananda, big dada. He was giving us class morning, afternoon, teaching us to do work and to do cook and different activities. It was a very nice experience. And I do hope the center here is not so active now that it will resurrect again. That's why I came out. I was hoping to, somehow get some energy back here in my country, get things happening again. I don't know if we'll have such beautiful scent again.
Well,
I don't know. Just things just change.
thank you for sharing
Yeah.
experiences with us. That
Okay.
was
Yes.
very interesting.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation also, and the opportunity to reach out to Margie. It's nice meeting you, Dadaji. Namaskar
Namaskar. Thank
to
you.
you all, and namaskar, namaskar. Ji.